Hi, my name is Bill Bradley. I'm an extreme endurance athlete, and this is my video newsletter. The topic of today's newsletter is how to use target workouts to strengthen your mind. Like I said, you build up for these long events by doing, long workouts. As I kind of progress and my workouts get a little longer each week as I build up these long workouts as I get close to my event. I'd like to highlight a couple of my events and just kind of go through how I use the long workout, not just for building myself up physically, but for building myself up mentally. When I got accepted into RAAM, which is considered the world's toughest bike race, it's 3,000 miles, pretty much nonstop from Oceanside, California to Annapolis, Maryland. I went up and I decided to do part of my training was and working my way up was I went up to Lake Tahoe, which is at about a mile elevation, and you bike 72 miles around the lake is what it's around. And my plan was to go up there and go around twice. And so I went up and I was staying at my cousin Linda and her boyfriend at the time, Dave's house. And when I got up there, that feeling when you're coming down with something and you're getting sick, and I was like, no, but I knew I was coming down with something. And when I started out in the morning, I wasn't feeling good at all, and I really pretty much suffered through the first lap of the lake, and I was feeling flu-like symptoms. I was kind of getting that hot cold thing, the chills. And when I got over to back to their house, which was after one lap, and I was going to fill up my water again, fill up my food, and this was after about 6 hours. I was wiped out. I mean, I was trashed. When I would stop, I was shivering, and my cousin Linda and her boyfriend Dave took one look and he goes, "Bill, there's no way, man. You're done, right? You're not going around again," because I was so sick by that point. And I said, "Dave, I cannot afford to train my mind to quit. I have to go around again. Target workout. You almost have to kill me to not finish a target workout." And so I got on my bike and I headed back around the lake, and I was so weak, and it's got a lot of climbs. That lake has a lot of climbs on it as you go around. And I remember I got halfway around and I was over at North Shore, and I laid down on this bench, and I was having those chills. I was going, I'm and I was so sick, and I was thinking like, "Bill, what have you gotten yourself into?" But I had no choice but to get back around. And so I got in, I sucked it up, and I got on my bike and I just started going. And there's a big climb you got out, Spooner Summit climb I had to do just slow as can be. And it took me way longer than I would have anticipated to do that second time around the lake. But when I finished, I brought my mind to a new level. I mean, I had rode 150 to 144 miles, sick as a dog with the flu. And I knew that I could reach for that when I was in RAAM. And I did, trust me. When I hit my lows, when I was riding across the country, I would reach for that feeling that I had been able to ride 144 miles at altitude with a bunch of climbing and sick as a dog. And that was in there. That had made me mentally tougher. So another event I'd like to talk about is the English Channel. Now for the English Channel, I start building up my long runs. I get out there a few months before this recent last attempt at the Channel, which I ended up swimming like 20 miles. I didn't quite make it. I got hit with a storm and stuff and separated from the boat. But I was prepared for it. And how I got prepared was by training in the bay. And the bay's like in the 50s. Anywhere from low 50s to low 60s. And when I went out I did a 6-hour swim, an 8-hour swim, and a 10-hour swim, two weeks apart prior to going to the Channel. And then I left myself a 3-week or 4-week taper before I swam the Channel. But so these swims are like I said, same thing. You're almost going to have to drown me to not finish these swims. And so the 6-hour swim, the 8-hour swim, I threw up multiple times in both of those. I have a really weak stomach. My dad has this ironclad stomach, and my mom, I think she had a weak stomach because I got her stomach. So anyway, so I threw up multiple times, but it never deterred me. I just would just kept swimming. Now when I got to the 10-hour swim, some cold, maybe those temperatures was 57 or 58 or something, or 56. But anyway, some cold water came in the bay. I mean, whatever the tide changed or something, and brought cold water into the bay. And so when I went out for my 10-hour swim, the temperature was 54 degrees. Remember, no wetsuit. You never take a break. You just tread water. They throw your food on a rope. It's just which is usually goose and your water. And it's English Channel rules is how we do it. And my mindset is I'm doing this just like the channel, so it's almost going to have to kill me to get me to get out of that water. Target workout for me. And so I remember I started out and I did okay for the first like 5 hours. Then I got to like 6 hours, and all of a sudden I started shivering. Every stop I was shivering. I was getting hypothermic. At least at the time I thought I was getting hypothermic. But so I was shivering. But I wasn't going to let me stop. It wasn't going to stop me. So I just kept swimming, and I would get to every half hour we did a feed. And so when I would get to the feed, I would shake like this, because as soon as you stop swimming, you start shaking like crazy. And Bob would go, "You okay, Bill?" I go, "Yeah, I'm okay, Bob, I'm okay." And so I swam, and I ended up, it took 3 hours that I swam with, shivering like that. And then I eventually got enough fuel in me that I was able to stop. And I finished off, the last hour. And I learned a heck of a lesson there. It was that even if I thought I was getting hypothermic and cold, I still was not going to let it stop me. I could reach for that in the channel. The cold is not going to stop me in the channel. It's not. And I had problems with it in the past, but it was not going to let it stop me. So the lesson I'd like you to learn, the lesson that I got from doing all these events and the training, was that if you target a race, you have your race, and then you target these certain events, which most of the time training, and usually they're the long ones for me. But that not only physically builds you up, but mentally it builds you up too, so that you can stay out there that long. And if you hit adversity during that, you have that adversity that you were able to pull from, that, hey, I was shivering for 3 hours and I was able to keep swimming, and I eventually beat the shivering. So you can, so that's what as you're training for your events, that's what I would recommend, is that, you take certain target ones and you make sure you got your proper rest for it. Don't go into it super overtired, because when I do shorter events, and shorter training rides and runs and swims, sometimes it's just not my day, and it's not a target one, and I'm going to cut it short because I just don't feel good. But the target ones, I'm eating right, I'm sleeping right, I'm making sure I'm rested for them, and I'm giving it 120% to make it, because I know that that's from my mind and from my body. Super important. Anyway, you can follow me on Facebook or Twitter. If you have questions for me, you can email me at epicbillbradley@gmail.com. And if you're interested in getting information on having me speak to your group or to your company, giving a motivational talk, you can also email me at epicbillbradley@gmail.com. Thank you.